Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Sindhu Sinwar, and I come up with another good live show that we always have in the same segment, that is Reimaging Education. Um, the only focus of this show, I would say the prime focus of this show, is revolving around education, and that's what we stand for when it comes to Greenwich University. Greenwich University has been the pioneer private institute since 34 years in Karachi, Pakistan. We've had a number of graduates pass, number of doctorates pass from all around. I would say now they're all around the world. Working, making their name, making us proud. So today, I really would want to take this opportunity and say that I'm really honored. When it comes to women and strong women, I always want to be the first person, bringing them on board. And to have my guest who is also, from a woman and who's so strong and been so recognized in Pakistan, I think that shows me that there's so much to, your career. Only if you know yourself, or you can develop in any field with the grit that you have to go forward, nothing is impossible. So before any ado, let me just quickly tell you who's on board with me. I have Miss Sarah Alam, Dr. Sala Alam. Hello, Miss Sarah, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Sundars, for inviting me to this show. I'm so very pleased to be here. You know,
Thank you. I really appreciate you taking out time. You're actually living in Canada, so we had to, go on with the time zones and everything. I'm just going to give a quick introduction of yours. Dr. Sara Alam has done her PhD from the University of Karachi in Pakistan Media and Public Policy. You're the public diplomacy specialist at the US Mission, Karachi. You were. And, in the tenure of 2010 to 2018, you were the management of multi-million dollar grant programs on cultural preservation, university partnerships, youth leaderships, and entrepreneurships. You're a social activist, you're a professional development trainer, and to be honest, you're doing your second doctorate right now. That's amazing in social justice and education from South Asian Studies from University of Toronto. So, ma'am, honestly, you are a big role model when it comes to women taking all speed when it comes to education. So if I have not given the right introduction, would you please introduce yourself to everybody at Greenwich?
thank you, Sundars. I think you've summed up everything that, I've been doing and striving for all throughout my life. I started off my journey as, a youth volunteer and a youth leader for several, youth groups, etc. And while I was living in Karachi during my undergrad, I formed my own youth groups as well. After that, I started teaching while doing my masters, at University of Karachi and Jinnah University for Women, and then I joined the U.S. mission as the senior most, locally employed staff for the public diplomacy office for Sindh and Balochistan, provinces where we manage the exchanges portfolio, the alumni, portfolio, and several, education related grants, education and cultural related grants, for the two provinces. And we are very proud that we've made a difference in the lives of so many, young Pakistani men and women and children and students, who are excelling and, contributing and giving back to, the Pakistani community all throughout the country. So
True.
that's all about me. And I have
uh,
like,
Ma'am,
uh,
talking about your professional, or I would say not even professional. Let's talk about your academic, life, and it's still going on. By the way, I am so amazed. When I read your portfolio, I was blown mind. I was like, what? How can somebody do two PhDs? And for me, it's still like a big shocker up till now. But let's talk about it from the start. Like, how did you begin? How was it all together? All to you.
I would say that I will give credit to my school, my parents, my family, for making me who I am. Because, like, I was a very non-studious student, very naughty at school. I studied at Mama Parsi Girls Secondary School, and I was known for, like, violating discipline. I mean, Mama is known for all the rules and regulations, and I was like, the troublemaker at school, I would say. And but still my teachers, loved me because I was good in extracurricular activities and I was very active in that. So I mean, and my parents wanted me, especially my mother wanted me to be a doctor. So I was studying biology. I was pre-medical student, at DHA College for Women. But in my intermediate, I did not achieve the right scores to, get into the medical field. And partly not because of my fault. It was like I encountered something which is like, I say that many people or many students experience in their lives, that, and nobody realizes that, things do happen. And not every time it's the student's fault, which, parents often like to say that, oh, you may not have studied well, oh, you may not
Yeah.
have done this. But I mean, part of the system, there are some glitches in the system which kind of like, the students end up paying the price for. I was one of that student whose copies were switched, but nobody believed me at that time. And then I was
Oh my
like,
God.
I was already, involved. I mean, I um, was a cyber freak. So I was involved in several, international organizations that were, available online, as internet was something that I was exploring at that time. And so I was part of, International Education and Resource Network as their youth ambassador globally. And then I was like, this is basically it. This is what I'm going to follow, and this is going to be my dream, life, that I will work as a social activist. I started writing for, various online journals, etc., on social issues, on causes related to women and children.
Wow.
And then I was selected by International Education and Resource Network to be one of the keynote speakers for an audience of 12,000 people at Henny B. Gonzalez Convention Center to talk about Muslim and US friendship right after September 11. So that was my
Oh,
turning point, and I became that, motivational speaker to kind of like, bridge the gap, talk about interfaith harmony, talk about, cultural diversity and acceptance and tolerance for different faiths and different,
true.
groups of people, and building bridges between them. So
True.
that's where I started off. I availed 18 international scholarships, and to fulfill my, mother's dream, I was like, I will do a doctorate, but not in the medical field. And I ended up, doing a PhD from University of Karachi, and then a second one because like, I think I found social justice education to be something that I've never heard of, in Pakistan. And
True.
I believe there's a dire need for it. So I decided to, study it with the focus of, South Asia as my, context. And that's what I'm doing.
That's amazing, ma'am. First of all, big wow on 18 scholarships. Like, who even in the, I don't think there's an example more than that to somebody who's backing 18 scholarships. So that's good for you. And I think that that's a huge paradigm that if somebody can cross up to. So let's talk about, ma'am, education.
Mhm.
So usually when we talk about the field of education, we always talk about teachers in it. We always think that it's only related to teachers. Can you shed some light on what exactly are career paths in education and why education?
I see. Like, I would say that, education is revolving, and education is not what it used to be, like 10 or 15 years ago. And with the pandemic, also, it is like, constantly changing. We need to, come up with new strategies when we talk in terms of education. And we need, it's all about changing mindsets, and, changing the way we perceive how to acquire knowledge. Knowledge can doesn't mean that you need to just have degrees. Knowledge could be skill based, knowledge could be, vocational as well. And it's all about educating yourself in some things that you feel passionate about. When we talk about, the field of education as a teacher,
Mm.
I mean, we have these stereotypes, unfortunately, in Pakistan, that if you can't be anything, just be a teacher.
So true. Oh God.
I mean, like, when I am in Canada and I'm in like the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, which is, the prime educational institute in Canada. It's the largest and one of the most prestigious, institute in education. They are basically building up, educationists. They are building reformers in educationists. I mean, in education. Whereas we are like, in Pakistan are producing people who do not get any chance, so they end up, becoming teachers. Or due to different societal, pressures, they end up taking the profession of teaching. And especially for men, teaching is a very, non lucrative profession. Whereas,
So
like,
true.
in other countries, it's like, you invest yourself in education. You invest your, dreams or your, passions for the field of education, so that that, okay, I want to acquire this degree, or I want to study education so that I can be a better teacher. I can be equipped with the right resources and tools to, impart to my students. That should be, the focus of a teacher, rather than like being imposed upon that, you weren't able to get anywhere, so you end up. I know many people may feel offended by this, part of mine, but that's generally, what I see, happening in, Pakistan. That, like,
True, ma'am. I absolutely love this idea that you shared. Men becoming teachers, and I've seen that a lot of men who have a lot of potential, they don't take teaching forward just because it's like so much. See, our professions are so much related to men, women, that we forget the main idea that what exactly the profession holds in it. Right, the career has some name to it rather than just gender to it. So please, I would want you to talk about how do you counsel if somebody asks you that, hey, Miss Sarah, Dr. Sarah, I want to be a teacher, but because of certain issues, I cannot take this forward. What do you tell them?
I just ask them first, why do you want to be a teacher? What's your rationale behind it? Because
True.
that's very important. Anything that you want to do in life, you need to be very, strongly invested in it. I mean, we impose our, I mean, like, from a very early age, we impose notions on our children that you have to be this, you have to be that,
So
without
true.
really understanding the child's, temperament, the child's, need, the child's aptitude towards that particular field.
So
Like,
true.
I keep asking my children, do you want to be a doctor? They say no. And I'm like, okay, all right, what do you want to be then? I mean,
Mm.
they're just 4 and 5 years old at this point of time, so they don't have really clear direction, but they have aspirations. Oh, we want to be, like Mr.
Mm.
Bean, for instance. They watch Mr. Bean, so they want to, be Mr. Bean. Now, the thing is, like, if I start discouraging them, that, hey, no, you can't be, you need to look at, role models, etc., they're going to be feeling that I am, like, imposing myself on them.
So
It's
true.
from a very, early age that we as parents, decide to take charge of our children without letting them explore themselves. Like in my own case, that, I don't think I could ever have been a doctor. I'm not the kind to, read. I mean, like, I do read for my PhD, but I mean, that's something, like, social issues interests me as compared to, biological books. I mean, books related to medical, theories or medical, field. So it all depends upon the interests of people. So again, if you want to be a teacher, why do you want to be a teacher? What exactly are your, goals as a teacher that you think, you can take up, like. And then again, just be a teacher doesn't mean that, it's a very vast field. Like when I am, studying here, I see that, uh, education, has a very broad spectrum, which we are not even familiar with. Like, um, for elementary school teaching, there are different other requirements. For, primary school teaching, that's a totally different ball game. High school is totally, different. And the way teaching is categorized here, and the way that, focusing on pedagogy and curriculum development, and, different, resources for educating those teachers based on their, area of interest. Like, if it's a
Hmm.
elementary school teacher that they are, training or developing, then they are, catering to the needs of elementary students, equipping the
Yeah.
teachers to handle those, students the right way. It can't be that, you expect, like, I'm not good at, dealing with young kids. Now, if
Mhm.
I'm asked, okay, I'm not getting any job, just, all of a sudden I am asked to, be a teacher for a grade one student. I know I can't handle, young kids well. I mean, I don't have
Yeah.
the right. I mean, like, I can be good at teaching, university level students, but I'm not good at, teaching grade one students. So I shouldn't be there. But just because I'm getting a job, I shouldn't be there because I got the job, you
So
know.
true. So true. This
So
is the
that
biggest
is,
thing, miss. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you out. The biggest thing, ma'am, that I have seen is that people don't understand that not every PhD or not every master's is meant to be a teacher. And if they're meant to be a teacher, where exactly are they supposed to teach? This type of mentorship we don't see. We don't let, or I would say, we don't even counsel people on this. So it's so true that right now I'm also, teaching BS level students, and I do see that a lot of teachers are making students frustrated from education rather than making them feel relaxed from it. So, uh, uh, please carry on what you were saying.
and I was just saying that, grades do matter, but they're not everything. I mean, I I did not have a very good high school. I mean, like, till metric, my grades were very good, but in inter, my result was not that good. I mean, it was something that I wouldn't, show it to anybody. But still, I am in Canada's number one, university, and on based on my, experience, I got the admission. It wasn't that like, I got it because I wasn't, I was a very, I mean, I got admission because I was like an all rounder all throughout my life. And, I had, like, a position in all my, I mean, in all my schooling. No, it wasn't like that. I had my rough patches, I had my gray areas, for which I mean, like,
Well,
don't really feel proud about. But the thing is, still, I am doing a second doctorate from, Canada's number one university. That in itself it tells me that, okay, I mean, grades are not everything.
I
And
love that.
yeah, so focus on yourself, focus on what you want to achieve. Self determination and resilience is something, which is very, very important. If you're not resilient, if you are not a fighter for yourself, if by being a fighter, I don't mean that you start fighting on streets and, start rushing at people. No, by fighter, I mean you need to fight for yourself. You need to fight for what you believe in, and, you have to, break the stereotypes. You have to break, like. Um, the taboos that exist in our society, that, hey,
Miss,
you are a girl, you can't do this, you are a boy, you can't do this is not possible.
exactly. This is like the biggest thing that we as the new, I would say, generation, I would say the next generation coming forward have to stop, or put a stop on, because it's been so long that people haven't followed their right passion or their careers just because you're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. This type of a mentality that brings them in cages, ma'am. I was talking to you, even before this interview, and you were telling me that how you've actually helped a lot of students, planning their careers abroad, and you've sent thousands of, hundreds of doctors outside of Pakistan. You've sent them, in different places. They've made their way there, then came back, here on good jobs. Uh, If you can give us, some pointers to how really to plan career internationally.
You see, the thing is, like, you need to be very clear. I mean, there are two things. I was in a show earlier as well, and they were asking me like study abroad opportunities. First, you need to be very clear what you are going for. Are you going for? I mean, is your intent to go abroad to settle down, or is your intent to go abroad, equip yourself, return back, and do wonders, in your own country?
Mm, true.
And both of these things have two different dimensions to it. If you want to go abroad, study, settle down over there abroad, then
Mm,
you need to, go take a different route. But if you want to just, go for your career development, then there are tons of opportunities. There are tons of scholarships that are available, which not everybody is aware of. Like
yeah.
the US government, I mean, I would talk about US government because I've worked with them. I, was administering the exchanges portfolio for the US mission for Sindh and Balochistan. So I would say there are 30 different exchange programs that the US government offers, which directly or indirectly are administered by the US mission, the US embassy in Pakistan, or through United States Educational Foundation of Pakistan. I know because I've also worked with the British Council. British Council also has similar programs, but not at a large scale like the US mission. But still, there are opportunities that are there as well. Like my sister herself, attained a scholarship both from the British Council, as well as she was a Humphrey Fellow for sponsored by the US State Department. So, and then I myself have been, on like three US government exchange programs, and then like several other, conferences, etc., where I was, invited to be the youth ambassador of Pakistan. Um,
Mm,
so there are tons of opportunities, just that you need to be patient, apply, take out the time to, invest on your application. The biggest challenge when I was managing the SUSI, the Study of United States Institute scholarship, which is offered to undergrad student leaders, by the US
mm,
government, was that, the applications always used to be, I mean, majority of them used to be very incomplete, as if
oh,
like, they're not up to the level. I mean, and those who invested time and effort in their applications used to, get through. And trust me, they say, oh, like, the scholarships are meant for people, who are working within the mission or etc., or are reference based. No, it's not like that. I've been part of the system, I've been part of the selection process. I myself have benefited from these, exchange programs. References don't work, references don't count, by references I mean that we don't get a call from, people, and they say that, hey, please send this person to, US. It's not that way. No, it's not like that. You need to take out the time and effort to invest in your, application. You need to be prepared in your interview when you are, being interviewed for, the selection process. And your application needs to match what you are saying to in your interview. It shouldn't look like, somebody else filled it for you. These are the steps that are required to avail, the scholarships. And then your career objectives need to be very clear. What you want to do in life, how is this opportunity going to benefit you, and
mm,
what are you going to do out of it? Like, okay, I am going, to United States on a cultural exchange program. What am I going to get back? What am I going to bring back from that exchange exposure, that I'll get?
mm, mm,
These are the things that matter. These are the strong points that make your application stand out. And not
mm,
just for, exchanges, but also for your study abroad, applications. when you are, applying in a university for, your undergrad or for your masters, what they think and what they look at in a university is how clear you are in what you want to, do in life, and how this opportunity is going to meet your career objectives that you have laid out that you want to
Mm.
do. So these are the strong, points that people need to work on. What happens is there are several agents and, um, consultants available in the market. In Pakistan, people invest heavy fees on them, and they think that, okay, we've hired a agent or a consultant, and that person is going to fill out the application for us, and is going to, get us the scholarship. No, the scholarship is not meant for an agent for you to, he's not going to write your personal statement. He or she is not, in your shoes to realize what you want to do in life. Yesterday, I was reading a, comment on Facebook that somebody's, visa interview was turned down by one of the, missions, and it apparently happened that, some of the agents that they, hired to fill out the visa application form screwed up. Now, when a visa application form is being filled, it needs to be done by you. You sign a
Yeah.
schema that, you are filling this form yourself. And if you are not aware of the contents of that application yourself, because you've not filled it, that's a plain
Mm.
lie. That's
Oh,
cheating.
God.
And that, if you're caught, there are consequences to it, which blows away your career.
Oh my God. That's
So,
huge.
you see, the thing is like, as I say, that be a fighter, believe in yourself. If your application is not, entertained, maybe reach out to those people and ask that, what were the, reasons that your application was not accepted, or how could you have improved,
Mm.
If you don't get a response, fine. Check out with somebody whom got accepted into a program, whether it's like study abroad, or it's like, exchanges or scholarships, or,
Mm.
accepted into a university. Look at their personal statements. Try to make friends with people who are, who have success stories to share, and then ask their expertise. Okay, how did you fill out the application form?
Mm.
How did you, write your personal statement?
So
I
true.
mean, I would say that, a friend of mine, when I was applying for University of Toronto to get into my, PhD program, despite managing several, exchanges and being part of the selection process of even the Fulbright, program, I also had to write my own, personal statement for my PhD. And then I was like, okay, what do I write in my personal statement? So I reached out to my friend who was, a year ahead of me, and he was also part of, the U of T, the same department. I reached out to him and I was like, "Can you share your, personal statement with me if you don't mind? I'm
Mm.
not going to copy it. Don't
I'm
do
just
that.
going to take reference
It's-
from it. Yeah.
I'm just going to see that, how you have written it, you know,
Mm.
because that is going to help me in understanding what I need to, write."
True.
And that helped me. I mean, his personal statement could not be like mine. My personal statement could not match his, because my way, my whole idea of my research work was completely different than what he's doing.
Mm.
But his personal statement helped me in understanding what are the requirements of the university.
True.
So these are the ways, people reach out to me and say that, hey, we want to, seek admission in a university. Please let us know. Okay, my instant response is, Have you checked out the universities that you are interested in applying? Have you looked at their, eligibility requirement? Do you meet their eligibility requirement? Have you looked at, what you want to do by that degree? Are you clear enough? And
Hmm.
then what are the steps that you need to take? Don't think that, okay, just because you know somebody, you're going to get admission into a university. No, that's not the way things work. It is basically you yourself who has to invest time and effort. It is you who has to, kind of like um, be there from step one to the last step.
True.
And nobody can, do it for you.
That's so true. Ma'am, concluding it to the point, how you taught us about personal statements, or, how you have to be the person writing your own things or taking ownership in your own work, I would say more than that.
Yeah.
So, any last message that you would like to give to the students who are, because right now we have a lot of students, studying a PhD in education in our university as well.
Hmm.
So, what do you say? How do you think that these mentors, or these people should take their careers forward?
I think, like, there's no dearth of, opportunities in Pakistan and outside Pakistan. It's just that, like, you need to explore. Don't think that you are going to live in your comfort zone and then, opportunities are going to, come knocking at your door. You have to, make the effort and you have to explore them. They're right around your corner, just that you need to be able to, use the right tools. Most of, again, I would say, based on my experience, that most of, the foreign missions working in Pakistan have several, opportunities that that you can explore. I mean, even for scholars, there are different programs that people can benefit from, and then, like, they help in providing you with the right tools to, move ahead in your careers. So make the most of it. Look at, and then again, I would say there are different, educational organizations that are working as well, which have different, training programs. Continue to equip yourself with, different resources and tools.
True.
Again, COVID has posed serious, challenges in terms of, like, what the mode of uh, or rather the medium of instruction is going to be moving forward in the next few years, or, in the years to come ahead. Make the most of technology. Trust me, technology will be the next way forward, and we need our educationists to be very well equipped with, technology and the tools that are there out there.
That's
That's
so
all.
true. That's so true. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think this was a very small conversation. I would love to have more conversations with you regarding the role of educationists, or how educationists have been in Pakistan specifically. I loved your idea that you said how much we have to integrate ourselves when it comes to technology. I am a strong believer of this. My thesis was even developed on how the role of mobile assisted language learning helps us in our uh, language learning, and that's very important as people who are coming from Pakistan, uh, to even just showing their PhDs, how they have to actually inculcate themselves. So this was Miss Dr. Sarah Adam with us regarding her whole role. And thank you so much, ma'am Sarah. I really appreciate you giving us your time, and
Thank you
all
so
the way from Canada coming up and sharing your insights with us. It's been a super, I would say, a fruitful and aware counseling session, I would say, for us to really learn on to steps of the future. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much from Greenwich University side. Great. So when it comes to universities, or your role as a person who's taking your degree forward, I, as an educationist, always believe that please do not go into a degree just for the sake of a degree. Always understand that what it's going to hold, impact in terms of your career, or what you're going to do in the future. We're going to have counseling sessions and career counseling sessions now moving forward in Greenwich University. They will be live, and we will be sharing our insights with you, that how exactly when we're encountering students coming forward for admissions, why are they not given the admission? What are the ups, ifs and buts and nos of taking admission forward? Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. It's always been a pleasure to work side by with the different educationist professionals on this reimaging education platform forward. I will just leave you guys with a small note that always believe that you guys can, because the belief that you hold in yourself actually makes your ways very easy. And if you don't believe in yourself, then the half the way you're actually out of the race by that just that belief. This is me, Sundar Sinwar, educationist and lecturer, signing off from Greenwich University, hoping that you all will take forward good insights from our shows and will give us great feedback, and we will move forward this whole year with a lot of professionals ahead. Thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend ahead, and love this.